Hi everyone, it's Sue with Ully Cat's Designs and Ully Cat's World blog, and I'm here with our last day of a Cup of Cheer series. And today we're going to be using the Trinity stamps, Trinity cup card die set, and as you can see, it cuts out a shaped sort of teacup. And besides that, we're going to be using Spellbinders, Nestability, the classic scalloped circles small, as well as an iCrafter classic circles. And we're going to be using parts of this Spellbinders Cocoa Wonderland set. And I have to admit, this is where I partly got my inspiration for it. And what we're going to be using are bits of the eyes, the mustache, the nose, and the whipped cream. Got it roughly laid out, and I'll explain how I got some of these pieces. As I said, this was from the Spellbinders Cocoa Wonderland set, as is the mustache and all of the little facial details. I used slightly less than a 2-inch circle that I cut from the iCrafter classic circles, and then I used the 2 largest scallop dies to cut these hair and beard pieces. So to get the top beard piece, I actually cut it like that. So this is a scrap piece, but that way we can have a bit of a piece such as that. And then this set, I actually marked on the back where it lined up with, see there's like a scored rim around there. And I just lined it up where I thought it should go, made marks with my pencil, and then I draped it over the die, these edges, and this part underneath it so that it would get those score lines for me. And I'm just cutting it on the bottom score lines. So we now know that that needs to go, just kind of touches the edges of the cup. And to get these 2 pieces, I die cut, and this piece I just trimmed out, going approximately the same width all the way around when I trimmed it off. And to get this piece, this is just, again, I cut another just top of the mug piece out of brown, and I just cut the edges off. We'll start by gluing down our base layer of beard. I want to make sure that when I put the whipped cream on, I'm not going over the 5.5 inches from the bottom to the top. So using my mat, I have trimmed off some of the bottom of the whipped cream, mirroring the curve of that. And so it looks like I'm pretty good there. And now we'll work on putting on the details. Santa's face. Start with the nose. I'm using the Karen Burniston small script Christmas to get my greetings in, and I like it because it gives you a shadow as well as the other part, so it kind of almost looks like you're writing with icing on gingerbread. I've got my Christmas greetings already glued down, and my ho 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 I'm going to glue there, but just to show you how I do it is I use my grid map and I line up my tape, and then I loosely put down the top parts, and then we've got a space for our personal message. I've cut another circle which will go on the back of our card, but I want it to show some of the red through here, so that's why I'm laying out these additional smaller nesting dies. And we'll tape that in place and die cut it. And from the centerpiece, we're going to cut out a heart, which is from the Trinity Teacup set. I took some of my Nuvo Aqua Shimmer glitter gloss. You could also use Wink of Stella. There's a lot of different brands that will give you this kind of sparkly glaze that you can put over things. And I've done it on the cocoa portion and the whipped cream portion, and on the back circles. I've touched his cheeks, his nose, his mouth, his eyes, and his eyebrows, but I've left his beard and mustache plain, and inside just the pops of red. was made with only 3 colors of cardstock, white, red, and the brown. I colored the cheeks, the nose, and the mouth with a pink marker, and the eyes I colored with a brown marker. I've stamped my envelope, which is a 4x9 catalog envelope. It probably would fit very tightly into an A7 envelope, but I like to give it a little extra breathing space. And I have used Karen Burniston Winter Hugs. And sometimes when I put these shaped cards into a larger envelope, I will put in a very thin sheet of cardstock into the envelope, which does 2 things. One, it protects the card, but also it gives an easy way to pull it out. And so here is our final card for A Cup of Cheer. I hope you got some inspiration from this card, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.